Namaskar and welcome to Sunset TV. I'm Rajiv Kumar Singh and you are watching House Highlights, the program where we bring you a concise snapshot of the proceedings in the two houses of parliament, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Before we get into the details, let us first take a quick look at the headlines. Work resumes in the Lok Sabha after prolonged disruptions. Discussion held on the Union Budget 2026-27. The ruling alliance highlights special emphasis on modern needs such as infrastructure and semiconductors, while the opposition terms the budget anti-people and directionless. General discussion on the Union Budget 2026-27 in the Rajya Sabha continues. NDA members described it as budget that accelerates the journey towards a developed India. Opposition benches allege neglect of farmers, the poor and other vulnerable sections. And record cargo movement of 146 million tons on national waterways in 2024-25 informs the Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarvanand Sonowal, in the Rajya Sabha. Says investment in inland waterways has crossed rupees 1,700 crore over the past 10 years. Let us now take a detailed look at the proceedings in the Lok Sabha on Tuesday, the 10th day of the budget session. The Lok Sabha sitting was again disrupted on Tuesday. Proceedings during question hour and the post-lunch session were affected, leading to adjournments. During question hour, P.C. Mohan was in the chair. He directed that the House take up the listed business and called for Iqra Hussain to raise her question. As the concerned minister began the reply, disruptions by opposition members intensified, forcing the chair to adjourn the House.
Question hour, question number 141, Iqra Chaudhary.
उत्तर प्रदेश में अब तक केवल एक ही डेयरी सहकारी समिति परियोजना की स्वीकृति मिली है। क्या सरकार ये स्वीकार करती है कि AHIDF योजना के अंतर्गत सहकारी समितियों को पहुंच प्राप्त करने में बाधाएं हैं? यदि हाँ, तो सहकारी समितियों की भागीदारी बढ़ाने के लिए सरकार द्वारा क्या ठोस कदम उठाए जा रहे हैं?
उत्तर प्रदेश में AHIDF के क्रियान्वयन के लिए
The House stands adjourned to meet at 12 a.m. or 12 p.m.
The House reassembled at 12 noon and the chair instructed for important papers to be laid on the floor of the House. The papers laid in the Lok Sabha on Tuesday concerned the Ministries of Commerce and Industry, Social Justice and Empowerment, Ministry of Ayush, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Cooperation, Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Ministry of Home Affairs, Jal Shakti, Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Social Justice and Empowerment, Petroleum and Natural Gas. This was followed by tabling of reports of Standing Committee on Chemicals and Fertilizer and Statement of Standing Committee on Chemicals and Fertilizer. A statement concerning efforts to maximize exports and minimize import was also tabled. As the House continued to be in disorder, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju requested the opposition to allow the House to take up general discussion on Budget 2026-27. Let us listen to the Parliamentary Affairs Minister's appeal to Congress and other opposition parties.
सर, ये बजट का समय है। मेरा अनुरोध है कि आज बजट पे चर्चा कीजिए। हम लोग कल भी कांग्रेस वाले से हाथ जोड़ के मैंने कहा है कि बजट का डिस्कशन शुरू हो चुके हैं, नाम भी पुकारे हैं, शशि थरूर जी का नाम पुकार चुका है। वो अपना बजट स्पीच को शुरू करने से सारा सदस्य, अलग अलग पार्टी के जितने मेंबर्स, सबने अपना नाम दे चुके हैं। उसके बाद जो हमारे नेक्स्ट स्पीकर समाजवादी पार्टी के, तृणमूल कांग्रेस के, DMK के, उनके नेता भी बोलने के लिए तैयार है। कांग्रेस ही अपना बात शुरू नहीं करते हैं, हर दिन इस तरह वेल में आकर के हंगामा खड़ा करते हैं। पार्लियामेंट चलने नहीं देते हैं, नुकसान सबका हो रहा है। मैं फिर से अपील करना चाहता हूं कि आप लोगों ने इस सदन का गरिमा बहुत गिरा चुका है, और ज्यादा गिराने का कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। बजट पे चर्चा सीधा सीधा शुरू होना चाहिए। अध्यक्ष जी,
Even after the appeal from the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, the House could not be brought to order due to opposition caused disruption and had to be adjourned till 2 p.m.
Honorable members, please go back to your seats. Let the budget discussion start. The House stand adjourned to meet again at 2 p.m.
The House reassembled at 2 p.m. and the discussion on the provisions of the Union Budget 2026-27 commenced. Congress member Shashi Tharoor initiated the discussion. The ruling alliance highlighted the special emphasis the government is giving to the modern needs such as infrastructure and semiconductors, while the opposition termed the budget anti-people and directionless.
Last year, when I was standing in this very place, I had remarked that the 2025 finance bill reminded me of the garage mechanic who said, "I couldn't fix your brakes, so I made the horn louder." Looking at the budget this year, I'm saddened to observe that though the horn has been muted, that there hasn't been enough movement. For this budget too appears to be a squandered opportunity, equivalent to rearranging the airbags on a crashing car while assuring the passengers that the chassis is sturdy and they will feel better afterwards. This budget is praised for prudence, but prudence without vision or fairness is hollow.
Commend Honorable Finance Minister Madam Nirmala Sitharaman for giving to this country of 1.4 billion people her 9th consecutive budget, a budget which reflects her commitment, the commitment of the government, the conviction of the government, and the consistency of the government. As I stand here to speak, I am reminded of a few words from Rig Veda, the oldest of our Vedas. Sangachadhvam sangvadadhvam sangvo manansi janatam. हम साथ बोले, हम साथ चलें, हमारी भावना और हमारी सोच एक दिशा में हो. My dear colleagues, we are all moving towards one and only one goal in the country, and the goal is to make India Viksit Bharat by 2047. And I can say with all conviction at my command that this particular budget of the financial year 26-27 is definitely a very strong step in our common journey.
महोदय, समावेशी विकास का यह आम बजट वाकई में राष्ट्रहित और जनहित के लिए अमृत एवं संजीवनी के रूप में कार्य करेगी। महोदय, भारत के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के दूरदर्शी एवं प्रगतिशील आर्थिक नीतियां एवं योजनाओं जो समाज के अंतिम व्यक्ति के साथ सभी वर्गों को समानांतर एवं सार्थक लाभान्वित करती है। इसके लिए मैं आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का एवं माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी का हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। महोदय, यह बजट भारत के किसानों, युवाओं एवं महिलाओं तथा सभी वर्गों के उत्थान तथा विकास के लिए है, किंतु हमारे साथी को यह सब दिखाई नहीं पड़ता है। न जाने उन्हें यह क्यों नहीं दिखाई पड़ता है, उनके चश्मे में इस तरह दिखाई क्यों नहीं पड़ रहा है। महोदय, रोजगार, कौशल प्रशिक्षण और अन्य अवसरों की सुविधा उपलब्ध कराने के लिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की योजनाएं जो विकसित भारत बनाने में एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है। महोदय, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने किसान भाइयों के लिए कृषि में उत्पादकता और अनुकूलनीयता को प्राथमिकता देते हुए परिवर्तनकारी राष्ट्रीय सहकारिता नीति जैसी योजनाओं को कार्यान्वित किया है।
Sir, the budget gives us a clear message about India's long-term priorities, and it also emphatically states where India intends to position herself in the unfurling global economic scenario. Sir, it also clearly states that the budget intends to balance growth, and macro stability. So the challenge before the Honorable Finance Minister, as she was charting out the budget, was that she had to ensure momentum alongside building resilience. So we had a growth of around a GDP of around 7%, inflation being low, and our fiscal deficit in the right direction. This was the momentum that was there in the country, sir, but we needed to build our resilience against the global trade, which was in a flux. Sir, the fiscal deficit of 4.3%, which is marginally lower than the 4.4%, only emphasizes that the focus of the finance minister has been on continuity rather than ambition. Sir, since the pandemic, the slow rate of fiscal deficit reduction, sir, it only highlights that the focus has been on stability rather than dramatic consolidation. With the global uncertainty looming large and also the rupee under pressure, the budget, sir, that was presented is nothing short of prudent macro economics. Sir, above all of this, the real story is in the increase of allocation for capex at 12.2 lakh crores as against the 11.2 lakh crore, which is about 4.4% of the GDP. And this clearly underlines, sir, that the focus is on investments rather than consumption subsidies.
It is a matured budget and perfect budget for the strongest base, creating a strongest base for the Vikasita Bharat. What Narendra Modi ji is a dream. And one thing, this was a budget of a mature economy. For an economically stable country and by a government that is confidently looking beyond today, Union Budget 26-27 signals a shift from crisis management to long-term nation building. Aligning with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of developed India by 2047. Rather than announcing flashy grave, as the government has focused on strengthening core systems, healthcare, education, manufacturing, infrastructure, and now explicitly energy security and cutting-edge technologies, including AI. It leaps to the eye that the Modi government is preparing India for sustained growth, for a march towards becoming a developed economy. What does it mean? It clearly signals faster connectivity between major economic centers, alongside city economic regions, new freight corridors, inland waterways, coastal cargo promotion, and support to the states. The Modi government is now thinking in terms of agglomeration economics.
तीन कर्तव्य यानी वृद्धि, आर्थिक वृद्धि को गति देना, लोगों की आकांक्षाओं को पूरा करना और सबका साथ सबका विकास के मध्य एक संतुलित, दूरदर्शी और राष्ट्र को सर्वोपरि रखने वाले 53.45 लाख करोड़ का बजट प्रस्तुत किया, जिसमें हाई कैपेक्स और हाई ग्रोथ का समन्वय है और साथ साथ नई उभरती उद्योगों, सनराइज सेक्टर्स के लिए और उसकी बढ़ोतरी के लिए विशेष रूप से समर्थन है। यह एक बेहद अहम बात है। महोदय, इस बजट के 6 स्तंभ आर्थिक वृद्धि के लिए विनिर्माण को गति, विकासों के आधार पर सुदृढ़ीकरण, जनहित से जुड़ी सुविधाओं पर जोर, विश्वास आधारित जनता को बढ़ावा, व्यापार और जीवन की सुगमता और राज्यों को अधिक वित्तीय सहायता देना है। अध्यक्ष माननीय सभापति महोदय, मैं सबसे पहले सरकार का आभार व्यक्त करूंगा, चूंकि यह बजट ऐसे प्रस्तुत किया गया है जिसमें केवल ये खर्च का दस्तावेज नहीं है, बल्कि ये नीति, नियत और दिशा स्पष्ट करता है।
Let us now have a look at all that took place in the upper house on Tuesday, the 10th day of the budget session. The Rajya Sabha proceedings began with papers related to various ministries being laid on the table of the House. This was followed by Zero Hour. During Zero Hour, members from different parties raised issues of public importance and drew the government's attention to them. Members flagged concerns related to railways and roads. A demand was made for tax exemptions and better support for NABARD. Attention was also sought towards the need for a dedicated government-supported e-commerce platform for women self-help groups and women entrepreneurs. Members called for a separate classification of special varieties of rice in addition to basmati and non-basmati rice. MP Mukul Wasnik demanded that on the lines of the economic survey presented before the budget, an annual report on social justice should also be tabled in Parliament every year. MP Sumitra Balmik called for a public awareness movement to curb the harmful effects of mobile phone and online gaming addiction among youth.
अब समय है कि हम डिजिटल दुनिया में दुष्परिणामों के खिलाफ जन आंदोलन शुरू करें। डिजिटल डिटॉक्स बहुत ज़रूरी है। यह संकल्प लेना बहुत ज़रूरी है। एक सप्ताह में कम से कम हर दिन हर स्कूल हर कॉलेज में यह प्रतिज्ञा लें कि हम सोशल मीडिया और एडिक्टिव एक्ट्स का उपयोग नहीं करेंगे। यह सप्ताह में कम से कम एक बार होना चाहिए और 24 घंटे हमारे दिमाग के लिए एक रिसोर्ट बटन की तरह काम करते हैं। इसका मतलब हम तकनीकी का विरोध नहीं कर रहे हैं, बल्कि एक तकनीक बेहतरीन सेवक और इसे अपने आदी न बनते हुए एक इसकी लत के बाहर आए। यह डिजिटल डिटॉक्स हमें अनुशासन और संयम सिखाता है।
BJD member Sulata Dev raised the issue of treatment for animals injured on roads. She also demanded the launch of a dedicated helpline number for the purpose.
हम जो गाय पालते हैं वो भी वही करते हैं, मगर फिर अगर उनको एक्सीडेंट होता है किस तरह से भी कुछ होता है तो फिर उनका देखभाल कौन करेगा? ये सरकार का जिम्मेदारी है। एक इमरजेंसी नंबर जिसको आंख बंद हो जाए तो सरकार का इमरजेंसी नंबर सबको याद हो और वो पशुओं के लिए हो और पशुओं के लिए एम्बुलेंस हो, पशुओं के लिए हर जिले में 24/7 आवर का हॉस्पिटल हो, तब जाके हम इंसानियत का ये दिखाएंगे। बस पशु है जो ना वो हमको बहुत सारे इंसानियत सिखाते हैं। हम इंसान आजकल इंसानियत भूल रहे हैं। मेरा आपसे निवेदन रहेगा सर, पशुओं के साथ हो रहे क्रूरता को कड़ी से कड़ी सजा मिले।
Union Minister for New and Renewable Energy Prahlad Joshi said that India is playing a leading role in shaping the global future in the field of green hydrogen. He stated that as of November last year, a total of 21 green hydrogen projects with a combined production capacity of 8,300 tons per annum have been commissioned across the country.
Under the leadership of Prime Minister, the green hydrogen transition in India, we are not only we are the participant in the overall दुनिया में जो चल रहा है उसमें we are not participant. We are the people who are shaping it for the entire world. This is the situation today, sir. And out of that, 5 million metric ton का जो हमारा आज के दिन में टारगेट है, उसमें हमारा as on November 2025, 21 green hydrogen projects have been commissioned across the country with the total capacity of 8,300 TPA, sir. Overall, electrolyzer के लिए and put together hydrogen, 19,000 crores has been earmarked. We are well on our way. There is still time up to 2028 and we are doing it.
Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarbanand Sonowal, has said that due to the transformative policies of the NDA government, the country achieved a record cargo movement of 146 million tons on national waterways during 2024-25. Replying during question hour in the Rajya Sabha, he stated that over the past 10 years, the total investment in inland waterways has crossed rupees 1,700 crore.
And in the last 11 years, because of the transformative initiative, I'm coming to that point. let me cite out exciting success story. In inland waterways, the cargo movement was limited to 18 million metric ton up to 2014. But under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, it went up to 146 million metric ton. Massive growth, 700% growth. Then if you talk about the operational waterways, it was limited to, during their regime, it was limited to 3 numbers only 3 national waterways. Now, because of this transformative initiative, it went up to 111 altogether. So this is 870% growth. And investment, national waterways, during their regime, it was only 183 crores. But during the NDA regime, it is 1,700 crores. Let me, Jairamji, please listen. This is all fact happening. And if you talk in terms of cruise, then the cruise passenger was limited to 84,000 only. 84. Now it went up to 5 lakhs. That is the jump, 485%.
Discussion on the Union Budget 2026-27 continued in the Rajya Sabha on Tuesday. Members from both the ruling party and the opposition shared their views and suggestions on the budget. During the debate, the ruling side described the budget as one that will accelerate the journey towards a developed India. The opposition, however, termed the budget disappointing for farmers, the poor and other vulnerable sections. It also alleged discrimination against non-BJP ruled states. Opposition members further raised concerns over the rising government debt and a decline in opportunities for stable and quality employment.
I want to take the opportunity through you and through this House to appeal to industry as a whole, public sector and private sector, to make use of this opportunity, this unique time in our history, to work shoulder to shoulder with the government to achieve our national objectives. The public sector has the ability to bring scale. The private sector must bring speed, innovation, and risk-taking. So I heard my esteemed colleague, the former Finance Minister of India, Mr. Chidambaram, initiating the budget. He made a comment about private sector investments needing to increase. I would like, through you, sir, to remind him that private sector investments have peaked to 6.5 lakh crore rupees in 2024, which is 66% more than the figure was in 2021. So when previous governments had completely ignored manufacturing and had written off manufacturing, this government, and I congratulate this government, that in the last 10 years there's been a tectonic shift in thinking about manufacturing. So this government has used production-linked incentives. This government has used production-linked incentives, has spent 24,000 crore rupees on production-linked incentives, which have already created 12.5 lakh jobs in this country. In fact, the former finance minister, under his tenure, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act was amended with so many draconian provisions, which made it so hard for entrepreneurs to do business in India. A small issue like KYC compliance could lead to harassment. और मैं सरकार को इसलिए बधाई देना चाहूंगा कि मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जन विश्वास एक्ट के माध्यम से आज 1000 जो माइनर ऑफेंसेस है उन्हें पूरी तरह से डीक्रिमिनलाइज किया गया है, ईज ऑफ बिजनेस को बढ़ावा दिया गया है।
भारत जी राम जी, गरीबों को, मजदूरों को पर्याप्त इन्होंने 100 दिन का दिया, हम 125 दिन का दे रहे हैं। महोदय, पहले जी राम जी में लोगों को महीनों महीनों उनको मजदूरी नहीं मिलता था, और आज वो मजदूरी 1 हफ्ते में देना होगा, और नहीं दिए तो उसको ब्याज देना पड़ेगा। और महोदय, अगर वो मजदूरी मांग रहा है, काम मांग रहा है, काम नहीं दिया तो आपको बेरोजगारी भत्ता देना होगा। तो सभापति महोदय, उन्होंने ये मजदूरों के लिए किया गया, ये विकल्पना है बेगम पूरा की। इसके अलावा किसान, भारत किसानों का देश है। 60% ज़्यादा लोग कृषि पर आधारित हैं, और कृषि पर आधारित हैं इसीलिए किसान सम्मान निधि, लखपति दीदी, महिलाओं के लिए प्रोग्राम, समूह, ये जितने कार्यक्रम हैं वो संत रविदास जी ने जो कहा, उन्होंने सबको उसी परिकल्पना पर मोदी सरकार 2014 से कार्य कर रही है।
It reflects our commitment to achieving a Viksit Atmanirbhar Bharat by 2047, sir. There has been a clear increase in public capital expenditure from 2 lakh crore in 2014-15 to 12.2 lakh crore in financial year 2026 and 27. This strong infrastructure push will have a definite GDP multiplier effect. The fiscal deficit is estimated at 4.3% of GDP in 26-27, down from 4.4 in 25-26, sir. The debt to GDP ratio is estimated at 55.6% in 26-27 compared to 56.1 in 25-26, sir. The taxes on income has increased from 14,38,000 crores to 14,66,000 crores, indicating a sense of confidence people have in the government. These figures show that the NDA government in balancing national growth with fiscal responsibility. This budget strengthens India's economic foundation towards growth, inviting confidence in our future.
आप देखें 2014 में जो हमारी जीडीपी रैंकिंग थी वो हम 10वें नंबर पर थे, आज हम 4थे नंबर पर हैं। अगर नॉमिनल जीडीपी की बात करूं तो ये 113 लाख करोड़ 5 लाख करोड़ से बढ़कर आज ये हो गई है 14,357 लाख करोड़। अगर हमारे रिजर्व्स की बात करूं, मैं फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स की बात करूं, 3.42 बिलियन थे हमारे, आज ये हमारे 686.2 बिलियन हो गए। कंज्यूमर इंडेक्स की बात करूं, महंगाई की बात, और महंगाई की बात तो मैं जरूर जानना चाहूंगा। जब मैं सदन में था उस 2014 से 15वीं लोकसभा में, तो उपसभापति जी कोई सत्र ऐसा नहीं होता था जिसमें महंगाई की चर्चा ना होती हो। इस देश की जनता महंगाई से पीड़ित थी। ये यूपीए के टाइम की स्थिति थी। आज क्या स्थिति है, क्या परिवर्तन आया उसमें? जहां उस समय 9.49 कंज्यूमर इंडेक्स था, आज ये घटकर 2% पर आ गया है। इसलिए अब देश के सदन में महंगाई पर चर्चा नहीं होती। ये फर्क साफ है। डिफेंस की मैं बात करूं, चिदम्बरम साहब कह रहे हैं कि डिफेंस में कम हो गया। आज डिफेंस की स्थिति हमारी क्या है? आज डिफेंस जब दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा इंपोर्टर था, भारत आयात करता था हथियारों को। आज भारत की स्थिति क्या है डिफेंस के क्षेत्र में? आज डिफेंस के क्षेत्र में हमारी स्थिति यह है, जब 2014 में 1000 करोड़ हम लोग एक्सपोर्ट करते थे, आज 23,000 करोड़ से ज्यादा के हथियार हम लोग एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं।
That is all we have in this episode of House Highlights. We will keep you abreast with the proceedings of the Parliament during the budget session. Thanks for watching Sansad TV.